Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my PlayStation Game Collection. So far, it's been like a year since the PlayStation 5 dropped, about 6 months since I got my hand on it, and I thought that, this would be a good time to kind of go over the games that I have. I've got most of them in physical condition. In fact, all the ones in this video are going to be physical copies. And I just thought it would be fun to, go over them with you. I know a lot of people don't have the PS5, and maybe this video will help you kind of decide whether or not you want the PS5, whether or not there's good enough games for you, so on and so forth. And I decided this generation to have a little bit of a more physical collection than I usually do. I usually bought all my games digital, but this time around, we're switching it up. I ain't doing that no more. We going with the PS5 physical game collection. Here they are in all their glory. One handful so far this year, but you gotta imagine that eventually I'm gonna have maybe 2 handfuls, 3 handfuls. I'm maybe one day not even gonna be able to carry them all. But we're gonna start here with not the most. I've only showed this game on the channel one time, Chivalry 2. So I have this game pulled up on Metacritic. This game has an 85 there on PS5, which is pretty good. 5.8 user score is not perfect. This released on April 23rd, the month of my birthday, and I actually only played this like a handful of times, which is why I wanted to do this one first, get it out of the way. So take a little look there at the box art. It's a pretty looking game. It was only $40, keep in mind, and I really wanted to try it out. I'd seen a few streamers play it. Charlie, Penguins, and just a few other streamers, and it is actually very fun to play. It's a game that I constantly think that I should be playing more, and it's a game that I can recommend if you have $40 to spare. Maybe not enough content there to be playing it all the time, but it also could be one of those multiplayer games that you kind of just go back to every day when you're looking for something to do, you're a little bit bored. Definitely enjoyed that one. Now, next in the list is 2K21. So I actually would probably not have gotten a physical copy of this game. As you can see, Zion Williamson on the cover, but I needed to get a PS5 by any means necessary, and the only way I was able to get one was through GameStop with a bundle with NBA 2K21 and the game that we have up next. And I was kind of pissed that I had to pay $70 to get NBA 2K because 2K is one of those games that always goes on sale, so on and so forth. Sitting at a 79 on Metacritic. Metacritic is kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of different reviews all together. It is not perfect, but it is pretty good. And it looks beautiful on PS5. Maybe the best looking sports game on the PS5 at the moment. And, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I had a really good time playing the game. We had a My Player career on the channel, and you guys really loved that. And I'm so excited. 2K22 is literally coming out in a few days. We're definitely going to be playing that on the channel. I really enjoyed 2K. This is my first 2K really digging my teeth into, and we had a good time. I liked it. Maybe we should start rating these out of 10. I'd say Chivalry for me right now is sitting at a 7, only because it hasn't had me coming back. But if I had maybe played a little bit more, that could probably be an 8. Or, maybe even possibly a 9 if you really love the game. 2K21, I'm also going to give a 7 because this is my first entry into the series, and I know that these games are pretty much the same every year. I had a good amount of bugs in it, and this is at the end of its life cycle. No real excuse to have any bugs. But a 7 out of 10 for a sports game, I'd say that's fair enough. And we've got on Metacritic 79, which is honestly a lot higher than I would have thought. But the user score, it's all the way down at 2.6. People really angry at this game, not happy with the state of 2K at the moment, and I can understand where they're coming from. Next up, we have the still sealed copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5. Wow, I mean, this game is a 9.5/10 for me. A lot of people have played Spider-Man throughout the days on PS4, and I have played that now twice. Once on the channel, once by myself before we even started off YouTube. We obviously played Miles Morales on the channel as well. So beautiful. It uses the controller so well. The swinging mechanics, all of the new combat and traversal and stealth mechanics that they added in with Miles. And just, adding in the Bronx, a bunch of new missions. A perfect bite-sized piece of content, I would say. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked my Miles as Spider-Man. and we had a really good time with it. So yeah, as I said, 9.5 out of 10 I'll give it. Just can't quite give it that 10 that this next game is going to take from me. This next game is absolutely going to take the 10, and we'll get right on to that. Miles Morales has an 85 on Metacritic, 7.5 user score. That's the highest user score we've seen so far. I definitely think that the 85 could be bumped up to a 90, but you know what? Either way, it's still looking good. So let's move on to the next game, which is going to be Demon's Souls on the PS5. Got my physical copy right here, and I mean, what a game. You know, everyone talks about having to get into Souls games. Everyone has their story of when they got into it. If you haven't, you got to try them out. But this game was my first, and dude, it is such an amazing game. Demon's Souls blew me out of the water. It is probably the most beautiful game that I've played on PS5 so far. It's the most mechanically sound. I didn't have any glitches. I had such a good time with the mechanics and everything, and the lore, the weapons, the different items. I mean, it is really just a masterpiece, this game by Blue Point Studios. This one came out November 12th, right around the drop of the PS5. I think this might have been a release game, and I mean, dude, I loved this game. Definitely gets my 10 out of 10 seal of approval. Maybe my game of the year for 2020, even though it came out in the end. I could put it as my game of the year for 2021 almost at this point, because, you know, I didn't play it until 2021, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. Great time. I loved the series that we did on the channel, and all in all, that's probably got to be one of my favorite games that I've played so far on PS5. It got a 92 as well on Metacritic, so and an even higher user score than Miles Morales at 7.9. So you can see that people absolutely love this game, and for good reason. I mean, if you haven't seen any gameplay of it, go check it out. It is so beautiful. It is insane what they were able to do, remaking this entire game, and really staying true to the original as well. All right, so next up on the list, I have the deluxe edition. So most of the time, the game is not going to look like this, but I mean, it's pretty nice box art. I'm a fan of it. Also loved this game. Resident Evil Village, my first Resident Evil game. I know, pretty extreme that it took me this long to get into them. Love horror games. I had a great time with it. I love survival as well. So, you know, those two combined in this game really made it a good experience. Of course, we had Lady D. We all love Lady D. Who doesn't love Lady D? And, you know, had a good time with it. 84 score on Metacritic, 8.5 user score is actually the highest user score that we've seen so far. So people also actually love this game. And I can see why. I mean, it had good mechanics. It had really fun environments and enemies to fight. You know, a lot of people criticize the dialogue of the main character, Ethan, which for good reason. I mean, he barely says anything, and what he does say is very corny and cheesy. But I think that really adds to the... I think that really endears people to the game, you know, the fact that Ethan is just kind of this cheesy guy. But the Duke, I mean, the Duke was a great character. He had some amazing dialogue, and so did Lady D, so you can't really fault them for not having good dialogue. It seems like it was more like a choice that they made. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It was a choice. So what am I gonna rate Resident Evil Village? I'll give it an 8. I really enjoyed it. Maybe not a 9. Man, I don't know why I wouldn't give it a 9, but I just don't feel it in my heart of hearts. So we're gonna stick with an 8. 8 for Resident Evil Village, and we're slowly but surely getting down this list. So our next game, here we are, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. A new high score on the user score right here. I mean, first off, probably joint with Demon's Souls as the prettiest game. This game is not as realistic looking as Demon's Souls because, I don't know, you're going through interdimensional rifts and there's aliens and you're playing as a Lombax, so obviously it's not going to be very realistic. Even still, it managed to be so fun, and you know, some people might think that this game is for a younger audience. It seems to be a little bit geared towards that, but you know, being 21 myself, I thoroughly enjoyed playing this game, and I had a really good time with it. It's not too long, which for me, I really do like. I don't like spending 60 hours in every single game that I play. You know, I really have to know what kind of experience I'm signing up for if I'm going for 60 hours. And in this case, this game took around 8 hours to beat, and I thought it was a really good 8 hours. It's very clean mechanically. It has really nice level design, and the story was pretty engaging as well. So, you know, for Ratchet and Clank, I'm also going to give an 8. I really enjoyed it. As you can see, I'm not the most stringent of reviewers because I couldn't give this anything less than an 8. An 8 is, let's give it an 8.5. Yeah, we'll give it an 8.5 to Ratchet and Clank, just because I can really appreciate what a masterpiece it is, and the technology that was on display was really great. And a user score of 8.7 on Metacritic and 88 from the critics shows that this game is really it's really one to remember, and it's a great game. So if you get the PS5, if you like Ratchet and Clank, if you like sort of third-person over the shoulder shooters with crazy weapons and goofy enemies, then this is the game for you 100%. Insomniac already did another game that we did in this video, the Spiderman games. Insomniac knocks it out of the park. They're a great gaming studio. Can't wait to see what they make next. All right, here we are last on the list with Returnal. So Returnal was a game that I kind of went into super blind. I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew that it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be pretty. And I knew that it was going to be PS5. And it was all of those things and more. Not a game that I finished. This is the only game so far that I've showed you guys that I have not actually beat that has a single player campaign. And that's my fault. Honestly, my fault. It's no knock on the game. It's just me. In the time when I was playing it, you know, sometimes it just happens that you have a bunch of different games lining up and things happen and this happens and that happens and that happens, and then you go down the rabbit hole of never finishing the game. But we're actually streaming it right now. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video, but we're streaming it this week until NBA 2K22 comes out, just to try and see if we can finish it off there. And it's really good. I can't really knock it. It's a great game. It has such good mechanics. The loading is insane. The story is very interesting and weird, and I appreciate that. And this is Housemarque's first AAA full-priced game, and you know, I think they lived up to the hype. It's really fun to play. I actually talking about it. I can't wait to go hop back into it. So I will also give this. I'm gonna give Returnal an 8. It's a little bit contentious because I kind of like it more than Ratchet and Clank. You know what? We'll switch those. Ratchet and Clank gets an 8. Returnal gets an 8.5. I'm sorry, Ratchet and Clank, but Returnal is just great. It's perfect third-person shooter mechanics, and the way that they use the DualSense is so great. The different environments are crazy. I mean, who could have thought of all of this stuff? I have absolutely no idea. So Returnal sitting at an 85 Metascore and a 7.2 user score, so not as liked by the users, but honestly, this game was so hard. It is so hard that I'm not surprised that a lot of people don't like it. It's the reason why I initially decided to stop playing it for a little bit, because it is really, really, really difficult. Hopefully, I'll be able to beat it, but I should be able to beat it. I'm a gamer. I'm MLG. What am I talking about? Okay, so that wraps up all of the games that we've seen, except we have one more game in the collection. Final Fantasy VII, a game that I really, really, really want to play on the channel. Let me know in the comments if you've gotten this far, if you would also like to see that, and you could be seeing that on the channel. I'm not going to spoil myself with anything, not even the rating, but I think that people really love this game. As a matter of fact, we could go look. Yep, has an 89 and an 85 user score, so people really like it, and I think that I will too, and hopefully you guys would enjoy it as well. Putting it on the channel sounds like a good idea to me, maybe at a time when we have a little bit less games going on, but without any further ado, that is my PS5 collection in full. We'll definitely do some updates to this video. As time goes on. Just dropped my entire collection of it, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different type of video. I'm trying to do a lot more of these because you guys like them, and I like making them. So without any further ado, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, morning, night, whatever time it might be where you are. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, peace.